everybody. This is Adrienne with Ascension Soul Coaching. Today is March 18th, 2022. So today we're going to do a reading on, we're going to do a reading on Meghan and Harry and what's going on with them as far as their team just released a PR press report that they were going to be releasing their very first podcast later this year in June 22. So we want to know if that's really going to happen. So their first podcast is going to on Spotify. It's supposed to be coming out. So let's just see what's going to happen with it. Is it going to be successful? Is it even going to happen? And what is the motivation behind releasing it in June of 2022, which is very close to the Queen's Jubilee, and also around the time of their baby Lilibet's birthday. So let's just see. Let's get into the reading and see what's going on. Okay, so for today's reading, we're going to use the cards, the Business Class Tarot. Okay, very new cards for me. All right, so here's the question. Is the podcast with Spotify for Harry and Meghan going to actually release in June of this year without incident? Is it going to release this year in June of 22? The podcast with Spotify for Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Let's see what's going on with that. So we're going to pull a few cards first. We're going to pull out 3. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to pull the card off the top. Okay. So we have our 3 cards. Put these away. Okay. Let's read them. The first card is Brand Manager, and it was reversed. Second card was Product, which was right side up. And Brand 7, which was reversed. Okay, so that's reversed. Okay, so these are new cards, so I have to kind of like give you a second to like really get involved into them. But what I'm seeing here is typically the brand cards of the Business Class Tarot is hearts with the cups, and the products is as you can see, these orange strips is the wands. So we're going to read it like a normal tarot, but in a business sense. So because this is reversed, Brand Manager, which would be the manager, is also the Knight of Cups, and it's reversed. We're looking at someone who is, in this case, so we're going to read, so they're in array, they're just disarray. They're not really on top of the game. This is where they are with the Spotify deal. They have not come up with any new podcasts in over almost a year and a half now, right? So it's been a while since the Christmas one, really in 2019, I believe. So they've not come up with anything, but they've been paid for it. So their product, their podcast is in disarray. There's no focus. They've been dreaming of making it work. They've gotten paid for it, but because they wanted to use the podcast for equality and women's right, and have your voice, to be heard. None of that's come true. So that's all in their head. Nothing's that they've put that they talked about they wanted to create has ever come to fruition. All right. So this is regarding the June date. So if they do release it, then there are some decisions to be made, because that means this person here is standing on top of the world, looking over the like New York or LA or whatever, and he's got money in his hand to burn, right? So he's flying high, he's up there, and he's doing the things he needs to do, and he's being very successful. So if they do come out with this in June, the launch, I think, will be very fair. They're going to do the launch, and it's going to be fine. They're going to do well, better than what anybody anticipated. But at the end of the day, once it comes out, they're going to lose focus again. So this is 7 of Cups. So it's reversed. Something's going to come up that's going to divert them from, realizing this, capitalizing on this momentum they get in June. Once everything's released and the first podcast comes out, they're not going to go out and do things that they need to really make this thing work. The cart's empty. Everything's on the shelf. So there may be, let's look at a bigger look at this. Someone in the bathroom. You know how you go to the store and you got to use the bathroom, so you push your cart in front of the bathroom and you divert it from your object. Your object was to go to the store and buy food. You have this list and you're supposed to carry it through, get in, get out, get gone, right? Go back home. Well, they're distracted. Something's going to happen that's going to distract. And remember I told you before, it's a possibility of the Queen's health. But I think something's going to seriously divert this, not just the Queen's health, but I don't think they're going to be inspired. Because this is reverse, y'all. They're going to do it. I think this thing with Meghan is she has no commitment. Like, she could do stuff for a while and then she wants to go into something. It's like, okay, I've done that, been there, done that. I want to do something different. She gets diverted. And I think another thing is going to be with Harry being diverted with the Queen's health. So I really think that they're going to launch it, but there's not going to be an attraction from it because they're not going to put any energy into it like they should. So what happens to it after they launch it and they don't put any energy into it? We're going to throw one more card. What's going to happen to the podcast? What's the outcome of that release of the podcast? Once they've released it, they're not paying any attention to it or giving it the energy they need to promote it or continue with it. What's going to happen to the podcast with Spotify? Okay, so we're going to again, chop it in 3. I don't have to, but I am. I'm going to take this card here. Again, I'm going to put these cards aside. Designers is a major arcana card. It's the magician. This is the heart. Remember, these are the cups, right? These are the cups. This is the cup. This is the cup. There's the heart. There's going to be musicians. It's going to take all kinds of people to come together to make this thing work. Again, it's like Spotify's going to have to take over. Somebody who's going to light the fire. Somebody's going to do the PR. Somebody who's going to, put the newspaper articles out. Or this is like a PR person speaking for them. This is someone actually reading magic, casting magic spells, and this someone who's thrown a heart and a sigil of what they really want to create from what's out there. So it's going to take the team to be able to get it back on track. But Harry and Meghan are no longer and are not going to be involved in this. Okay, so I'm going to throw one more card. Oh, let's just do this. I'm going to use the cards deck, Cards of Time. Find the right moment. How long is it going to take this Spotify to fail? Because if they're not paying attention and not putting attention, they need another team to come around it. That no longer becomes Harry and Meghan's voice anymore. How long will it take it to fail? Because the energy is no longer going to be there to propel it forward. So we're going to just pick one card from the deck. How long will it take this to fail? And we're going to take a card from the middle. And it's reversed. So let's do it this way. It says, it is almost going too fast. 1 day, 1 week. Then it's, so here it is. Whatever the energy they give to it in that first week, whether they're out there, not only are they releasing the podcast, but they have to be promoting the podcast and they have to give more content. They got to get real people in. If they do not do that within the first week or first day, well, really, let's give it to the first week, then it's not going to last. See, this heart is broken open. They've got to pour into it. They've got to pour the energy into it. If they do not, it won't last. And I don't think having this team behind them is really the essence of the show that they want to cast. I thought they want to go out there and do it themselves, and they want to put their energy. I don't think Harry really wants to do this. Harry doesn't want to do a podcast. He has no problem doing a show here, a show there with other people. He's not in charge of the actual structure of the show. He just shows up and just answers questions. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he has some foresight in what he want to talk about, but on a routine basis, no. And Meghan doesn't commit to anything. So I'm sorry. She committed to her show, Suits. But that was on her comeuppance, right? And I don't think she commits to things that she's not into. Maybe her mindset is that she likes to talk, but she has no action. So other people have to do her work. But if they were to do the work, once they launch it, it seemed like when they first launched it, it's going to get a lot of hits. There's going to be a lot of people watching and listening to it, and they're going to feel like they're on top of the world. Okay, we got this. We're doing this. But soon after, they just lose that momentum, and that's what's going to kill them. The show. Okay, y'all, that's my reading for the day. So they do have a lot of work ahead of them. They do have plans to release this Spotify podcast in June. Seems like they're going to be fine when they do it. Just that they're going to lose momentum and they're going to be distracted. What's new, right? There is a level of commitment that's just not there with anything that they really do. They truly are the people who like to go and lightly touch different things, but they want to get paid for doing a lot of work that they don't do. They just feel their ego is like, well, our names are big enough to lend to this particular project or whatever, so that should bring in the money. But yeah, you could probably get the money, but you also have to put in the work. It's not going to just drop in your lap. So that's why a lot of things that they do falls to dust. The Invictus Games with Harry, that's great. He puts a lot of energy into it, and you can see that he loves what he does. And then the orange suit, again, I am not going to talk about it because it was a gimmick for the show. It was to get attention for the games, and that's what you do when you're in, your PR team tells you, hey, this is a great way to get attention. And he got the attention, and people looked at him and like, oh my God, he knew what he looked like with all that orange on. But if he doesn't put as much energy into the podcast, it's not going to do as well. All they're going to do is talk about him in a negative way. And that's going to hurt the podcast. And again, there is a huge possibility that if Spotify feels they have to put all that work in it to make it work, they have to bring the musicians in, the most important people to create the show that's supposed to be Harry and Meghan. Eventually, they're not going to do it, and they'll just give it to someone else. They can do that for someone else. They can build someone else up who has a name and the drive and the ambition to get the work done. So that is my reading for today. I hope y'all have a good day, and we'll talk again. Adrienne with Ascension Soul Coaching at gmail.com. If you want a reading with me, you know how to get in touch with me. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and I will talk to you soon. Blessings.